Hello, friends. I've written extensively about self-care when one is a caregiver to a loved one living with Alzheimer's disease or another dementia. There's even an entire chapter devoted to the subject in my book, Surfing the Waves of Alzheimer's. And my earliest blog posts speak to this often. Because self-care is so important in that situation. You cannot provide the best care to your loved one if you are not at your best. Yes, your loved one's needs are going to take precedence over yours at times, but disregarding your needs completely is not appropriate. Self-care is not selfish. Your loved one deserves the best you that you can offer. Self-care is not self-indulgence. It's not saying, I've had a terrible week, so I deserve to sit in front of the TV with this bottle of wine. Self-care means taking good care of our physical bodies, our mental state, our spiritual selves. Good care of the life that we have been given. So what about self-compassion? Is it the same as self-care? If not, how is it different? Last week, I posted this quote from the Buddha on social media. If your compassion doesn't extend to yourself, it is incomplete. Because that struck a note with me, struck a chord. And people commented that it struck the same chord with them. I believe that self-compassion is a state of mind that leads to self-care, which are actions that we can take when we have compassion on ourselves. Self-compassion involves offering yourself the same respect, understanding, and loving kindness that you would to a good friend. Compassion literally means to suffer with. When we see another person or even an animal suffering, our hearts are moved. We have empathy. We want to alleviate their pain or at least understand it. Self-compassion also means not beating ourselves up when we make mistakes. We wouldn't treat a friend to cruel taunts or criticism if they made a mistake, so why do we do it to ourselves? Often our own worst enemy camps out in our own brains. With caregiving, this often comes when we fail to meet our goals and standards of caregiving that we think our loved one deserves. And yes, they do deserve it, but there is no way that we can provide perfect care. No one can. It's impossible. So that we just do the best that we can do. Self-compassion means offering yourself that same understanding that you would to a friend who is going through a hard time and making mistakes along the way. So when you find yourself or feel yourself coming short, offer yourself, look at the situation that you're in and recognize that it is a very difficult situation. And with compassion, name that it is difficult. And offer yourself that same understanding and care. Acknowledge it, forgive yourself, and then move on. Because self-compassion will lead to good self-care practices. And that will lead to a happier, healthier, and more whole life. Thank you. Be well and keep your balance.